What if nearly everything you were taught about money, abundance, and prosperity was not only incomplete, but specifically designed to keep you spinning in circles, chasing solutions, but never quite arriving? Imagine this for a moment. Millions of people all over the world rise every morning before sunrise, carrying an invisible weight on their chests. It's that silent ache of lack, the quiet pressure that hums just below awareness, whispering that abundance is always for someone else, always just out of reach. Maybe you know exactly what that feels like. The hesitant pause before checking your bank balance, the sting in your chest when a bill arrives, or that almost imperceptible sigh when you realize once again that what you have is not quite enough. Perhaps you've grown accustomed to blaming circumstances outside yourself. You might have pointed to the economy, the government, your upbringing, your education, your boss who won't give you a raise, or simply some mysterious bad luck that seems to shadow your steps, showing up precisely when you're about to move forward. You've tried working harder than anyone else you know, staying up late, saying yes when you meant no, cutting out every luxury, sacrificing rest, investing in every new strategy or course. And yet, despite all this, you sometimes find yourself standing at the window, gazing out as if prosperity were a guest at someone else's celebration, close enough to see, too far to touch. But what if I told you that the real reason for this invisible barrier is something you have never considered? What if the patterns of money, the rhythms of giving and receiving, the expansion and contraction of your wealth are not governed by luck, hard work, sacrifice, or even your past mistakes, but by a series of hidden universal laws that almost no one ever talks about? Laws that pay no attention to how hard you try, how much you deny yourself, or how many times you start over, but respond with perfect precision to your inner alignment, your spoken word, your deepest self-concept. Today, you are about to cross a threshold. For the very first time, you will be shown the 11 hidden universal laws that attract prosperity, codes so ancient and exact that they have silently directed the fate of every human life, from the humblest beginnings to the greatest fortunes since the very dawn of time. These are not empty ideas or recycled motivational slogans. They are living spiritual mechanisms, mathematical in their accuracy, spiritual in their essence, that quietly decide, moment by moment, who will rise into overflow and who will remain repeating the patterns of lack. And before we move forward, I want to invite you into a sacred field of intention. This is not just a video, not just information to collect. This is a living practice, and it begins now. Comment below. I'm ready for the 11 codes. Let this declaration echo into the universal field as a sign of your willingness to step beyond the known, to release the old narrative of struggle, and to become the author of your own abundance. And as you do, share where in the world you are watching from. Because from this moment on, your physical location, your background, your external resources, none of these will determine what you can receive. Abundance is about to become a frequency, a state of being, a spiritual inheritance that responds to who you decide to become. Here's what may surprise you most. Your current financial situation, your income, your debts, your opportunities, your sense of security or uncertainty has almost nothing to do with what the world says you deserve. Every single dollar that comes into your life, every door that opens or closes, every breakthrough or setback is magnetized or repelled by laws deeper than economics or politics, by spiritual currents that answer to your innermost beliefs, the stories you repeat inside your mind, the vibration you carry in silence. Most people spend a lifetime searching outside of themselves for the key. They look for another job, another side hustle, a smarter investment, or a more generous employer. Some try moving cities, learning new skills, or chasing the latest promise of fast wealth. But the real power to command abundance, to shift the entire landscape of your reality, has always been hidden within the invisible realm of vibration, intention, and spiritual law. So let's pause here, not just as a courtesy, but as a conscious act. Wherever you are, let your shoulders relax. Feel your feet touching the ground. Take one full, nourishing breath. Close your eyes if you feel safe to do so, and allow yourself to notice, really notice, the subtle contractions in your body whenever you think of money. a tightness in your stomach, a flicker of doubt behind your eyes, a tension in your jaw or your hands. Perhaps you remember a moment of disappointment, a missed opportunity, a debt unpaid, a promise you once made to yourself that now seems far away. Notice all of this, but do not judge it. The very act of awareness is the first sign that you are not defined by these sensations. You are the observer, the creator, the command. What if, just for today, you gave yourself permission to become a beginner again, to set aside everything you think you know about money and listen, with the openness of a child, to the possibility that the world is far more magical, responsive, and abundant than you have ever been told? This is not about adding more effort, collecting more tips, or chasing after fleeting moments of motivation. This is about aligning your entire being, your thoughts, your words, your expectations, your identity, with the 11 hidden universal laws that, once activated, make prosperity the only possible outcome. Are you willing to accept that, from this moment on, money will no longer be a mystery? That it is not a punishment, a trial, or a cosmic accident? That from this day forward, abundance will become your servant, drawn to you, multiplied, and stabilized by the spiritual mechanics you are about to embody? Take a breath with me. Let's begin this journey together, not as passive observers, but as conscious creators, not just with our minds, but with our words, our rituals, our willingness to be transformed. The doorway to prosperity stands open before you now. Cross the threshold. The 11 codes are waiting. Imagine, for a moment, that every word you speak is not just a fleeting sound in the air, but a seed, each syllable carrying the precise blueprint for your next experience with money. This is the first hidden universal law that attracts prosperity, the law of spoken creation. It's the foundation of all abundance, the invisible mechanism that shapes reality long before you ever see evidence in your bank account. Whether you realize it or not, the universe is always listening. Every statement you make about wealth, lack, opportunity, or fear is encoded in the fabric of your life, acting as a command to the infinite. From the very first moments of human existence, words have held sacred power. In every ancient tradition, it is the word, spoken aloud, that sets creation into motion. The world itself was called forth by voice, by vibration, by sound. Yet most people move through life as if their language were powerless, unaware that every phrase about money, every joke about scarcity, every confession of doubt is programming the next chapter of their financial story. Pause for a second and think back to the last time you spoke about your finances, even casually. Did you say, "I can never get ahead"? Did you whisper, "I'm always broke"? Or maybe you laughed with friends about never having enough. Each time, the law of spoken creation records your words as commands, molding the field of abundance to match your beliefs. The hidden truth is that your subconscious mind, your energetic soil, does not distinguish between a joke, a complaint, or a declaration. It simply receives and multiplies what you plant. Here lies the first major shift for attracting prosperity. Become fiercely intentional with your language. This is not empty, positive thinking. It is a spiritual engineering of your reality. When you declare, "I am open to receive abundance," or "prosperity is my natural state," you are not just hoping for change. You are writing the code that universal law must obey. If you want to attract money, wealth, and overflow, your spoken word must become sacred. Every sentence you utter about your finances must be treated as a creative act, a spell you are casting into the unseen. Start to notice the hidden habits. How do you speak about money when you're alone? What do you say in the privacy of your mind or in the heat of frustration? Do you affirm scarcity, or do you give life to prosperity through your language? Here is your first ritual. From today onward, become the guardian of your words. Speak only what you desire to see multiplied. If you catch yourself about to say, "I can't afford that," pause and reframe. "My supply meets every demand." If the impulse to complain about money arises, transform it into a blessing. Abundance flows to me from unexpected sources. Let every spoken word become a deliberate instruction for the universe to follow. Write in the comments now, "My words create my wealth." Let this phrase seal your commitment to the law of spoken creation. Let the field witness your decision to command abundance with every word. Share a new affirmation below that you will use for the next 24 hours. Your declaration will inspire others and set a new rhythm in the field of prosperity. This first law is the foundation upon which all other universal laws rest. Without sacred speech, all the effort in the world cannot stabilize your abundance. The universe is not personal, it is precise. It does not filter your words for truth, wisdom, or intention. It multiplies whatever you plant, faithfully and exactly. If you wish to attract money, prosperity, and opportunity, become a master of your spoken word. Let your mouth become the gateway to overflow. Remember, you are not here to repeat the past, but to author a new future. The 11 hidden universal laws that attract prosperity begin with your command. Every word is a wand, every phrase a seed. Plant only what you wish to harvest. Take another breath and feel the atmosphere shift as you claim the law of spoken creation for yourself. This is just the beginning. In the next block, we will unveil the second law, a principle so powerful it will completely transform your relationship with money, movement, and flow. Are you ready to speak your world into wealth? Comment below and let your intention be known. My words are the voice of prosperity. There is a secret about prosperity that most people will never understand. Abundance is not a static lake, but a living river. Money is energy, a spiritual current that craves movement, expansion, and circulation. Each time you hold on to money with tight fists, afraid to release or share, you are signaling to the universe that you do not trust the flow of abundance. When fear governs your relationship with money, even the greatest effort or discipline cannot produce the lasting prosperity you seek. But the spiritual mechanics of wealth respond to a different kind of action. They respond to joyful movement, to conscious giving, to the practice of letting energy circulate through your life as freely as breath moves in and out of your body. Maybe you have noticed that the moments you clung to every dollar in anxiety, worrying about bills or the unknown, things only seemed to tighten further. Yet, when you released money with gratitude, when you paid, gave, or invested with faith, unexpected returns began to appear. The invisible law at work is this: the universe cannot multiply what you refuse to move. Whenever you circulate money from a place of trust, you are casting a new vibration, sending a signal that you believe in the endlessness of the universal supply. Each time you let money flow, accompanied by a declaration of gratitude or expectation, you magnetize fresh opportunities to receive. The spiritual field is always listening, responding not to fear or hoarding, but to your willingness to keep abundance in motion. So notice your body and breath the next time you pay a bill or offer a gift. Instead of tensing up, breathe deeply and speak with confidence. Let your words bless the flow and claim the multiplying power of every seed you release. Money is not lost, it is transformed, set free to return in unexpected ways, drawn to you by the frequency of circulation and trust. Affirm with every gesture that what you give will come back multiplied, and watch as the rhythm of your finances shifts from contraction to expansion. In the comments, let your intention be seen. I trust the flow. Declare it as your new mantra and inspire others to circulate prosperity alongside you. This law of movement is only part of the hidden framework. The next dimension is even more profound, the realization that you do not attract what you desire, but what you assume. The universe, impartial and exact, mirrors your innermost certainty, not your surface wishes. Most people speak of prosperity while secretly expecting struggle, affirm abundance, but believe deep down that scarcity will win. This internal contradiction is what delays manifestation and keeps abundance out of reach. To shift your reality, you must inhabit the vibration of already done. Instead of asking if money will come, you live in the knowing that it is already arriving. Every thought, every breath, every act is done from a place of certainty. Remember those moments when you were absolutely sure that a paycheck or blessing was on its way. Notice how you moved differently, how you spent with ease and made plans with confidence. That is the state you are called to embody, not just once, but as a daily practice. Begin to act, speak, and think as the person for whom abundance is not a distant hope, but a living reality. Thank the universe for evidence of your wealth, even in the smallest ways. Spend and give as one who knows that their supply is infinite and their needs are already met. Announce in your words and your actions, "It is already done." Let this phrase become the background music of your life, dissolving doubt, inviting completion, and transforming hope into reality. As you breathe and anchor these truths, remember that the 11 hidden universal laws that attract prosperity are not cold formulas, but living, breathing principles that respond to your faith, your words, your willingness to move and to receive. With every cycle of giving and every moment of assumption, you build a new foundation, a spiritual architecture designed for expansion, not limitation. This is only the beginning. In the next stage, you will discover further codes that rewire your ability to receive, give, and multiply abundance in ways you may never have imagined. If you are ready to embody these laws and live from overflow, let your intention be heard. Speak your commitment and prepare to enter the next dimension of prosperity, where every word, every act, and every breath becomes a channel for wealth to flow. There comes a moment on every spiritual path when you realize that prosperity is not something you pursue. It is something you allow, something you become. In this deeper layer of the journey, the old rules begin to fall away. The patterns you once called fate or destiny dissolve in the light of a new understanding. Your reality is not constructed by chance or the judgment of others, but by a hidden spiritual blueprint that operates far beneath the surface of what you think and do. You become aware that the laws governing your experience are activated not merely by effort or intention, but by your very sense of self, by the identity you accept and the silent agreements you carry within. You may have lived for years believing that money flows to those who work the hardest, or that opportunity is a gift granted to a lucky few. Maybe you learned early that certain doors would never open for someone like you, or that success belonged to another world, reserved for people with a different background, a different story. These beliefs, inherited or reinforced by the world around you, often remain unquestioned, operating as invisible contracts that shape your life at the deepest level. But beneath these inherited scripts lies a greater law, a code that predates your childhood, your lineage, even your earliest memories. This law whispers a secret. Abundance cannot exceed the boundaries set by your identity. In the silence of your mind, when you are most honest, what do you believe about yourself and money? Are you someone who is always just surviving, always on the edge, never quite that kind of person who attracts wealth? The truth is, the universe is relentlessly faithful to your self-concept. Every time you say, or even think, "I'm not good with money," or "abundance just isn't for people like me," you are renewing a spiritual contract that limits what you are able to receive. The law is exact. It cannot contradict the blueprint you present. So if you wish to expand your experience, you must first expand your sense of self. Start by observing the labels you've worn, the names you've accepted, and the stories you've repeated without question. Gently, without judgment, begin to set them down. They are not you. They are only garments you have worn on the journey, costumes that can be changed the moment you decide. This is your invitation to release old identities and step into a new self-concept. Instead of, "I always struggle," declare, "I am a vessel for abundance. Prosperity flows through me naturally." Let your spoken word rewrite the contract, sealing a new fate in the language of the present moment. You are not here to live out old stories. You are here to author new ones. Yet, the spiritual laws of abundance do not respond to wishful thinking or fleeting declarations. They respond to a deeper kind of alignment, an inner agreement between every level of your being. Most people sabotage their own prosperity not by lack of effort, but by inner contradiction. They speak words of wealth, but nurture feelings of unworthiness. They affirm prosperity in the morning, but rehearse lack at night. They dream of expansion, but fear what it might require of them. This is the silent conflict that keeps so many cycling through the same patterns year after year. The universe reads not only your words, but the vibration behind them, the hidden tone, the feeling, the expectation. Imagine for a moment that your heart, Your mind, your words, and your actions are four musicians in the same orchestra. If they are not in harmony, the music is discordant. No matter how beautiful a single instrument sounds, it cannot produce a symphony alone. The law of inner agreement demands that every part of you, thought, feeling, speech, and action, moves together, committed to the same outcome. When you finally stop negotiating with scarcity, stop entertaining doubts as old friends, and sign a new contract with abundance, the field responds immediately. Suddenly, synchronicities appear, opportunities surface, the tide turns in your favor, and you realize the only permission you ever needed was your own. This is the spiritual moment when you choose to burn your contracts with lack. Recognize the silent pacts you made with limitation, the times you agreed, even unconsciously, to settle, to shrink, to expect less. See the ways you have spoken agreements into being through casual words, complaints, even humor. This is not about blame, it is about awakening. As you notice each contract, each old pattern, take a breath and release it. Declare in the present, I choose new agreements. I sign a covenant with abundance, prosperity, and overflow. Let this declaration ripple through your energy field, dissolving the old, anchoring the new. From this place of harmony, begin to notice how your outer world shifts. Small opportunities multiply, unexpected doors open, generosity comes back to you from places you never expected. The universe is not slow or reluctant. It is precise, waiting for you to broadcast a clear, unwavering signal. As you live in this new agreement, you become a magnet for every resource, relationship, and miracle required for your expansion. The 11 hidden, universal laws that attract prosperity are not only about changing your circumstances, they are about changing your signature in the field, so that life itself recognizes your readiness and responds with mathematical certainty. Feel, even now, how the air around you shifts when you say, I am wealth in motion. Let this phrase become your new identity. Speak it until it feels more true than any label you wore before. Whisper it as you wake. Repeat it as you move through your day. Affirm it when old doubts rise to the surface. The new agreement will settle deeper with every repetition, becoming the fertile soil from which abundance springs. Let your next breath be a commitment. With every inhale, draw in the certainty of your worthiness. With every exhale, release old stories and silent vows that no longer serve. The orchestra of your being is tuning itself to the frequency of prosperity. Every thought, every word, every feeling, every step is harmonizing into a single declaration. I choose abundance. I am abundance. I allow abundance. This is the vibration that opens doors, multiplies resources, and calls forth blessings from the unseen. If you are ready for this new agreement, let it be seen. Speak in the field, comment, write, declare, I am wealth in motion. I choose new agreements. Let your commitment inspire others, for every contract you burn becomes a beacon for those still searching for their own permission. You are not alone on this path. The journey from limitation to overflow is walked together, word by word, agreement by agreement, step by step, into the fullness that was always yours to claim. Let the resonance of this new identity carry you forward, for in the next phase, deeper laws will reveal how to seal your prosperity in daily ritual, in sacred rhythm, and in living obedience to the currents of divine law. Breathe in the truth. Your abundance begins not in the world, but within, the place where identity and agreement ignite the fire of creation, and where prosperity, at last, becomes inevitable. There is a threshold that most people never cross on the path to prosperity. A hidden doorway, invisible to the eye, but unmistakable to the spirit. Up to this point, you may have sensed the universal laws, glimpsed the power of your word, begun to reshape your identity, and dissolve your old agreements. Yet, the real transformation is forged not in sudden revelation, but in the quiet, consistent fires of daily ritual. The next secret is this: prosperity is not a moment, it is a rhythm. Abundance is not an accident. It is a daily obedience to invisible patterns that gradually shape the visible world. Many come to this field full of hope and intention, but drift away when the first sign of resistance appears, never realizing that the real power is granted only to those who move in sacred discipline, to those who embody the laws with the same regularity as breath. In this place between the old self and the new, you are called to a deeper relationship with practice. Think of every day as a blank page upon which you etch the codes of wealth, not by wish or willpower alone, but by the art of showing up, again and again, until the extraordinary becomes your new ordinary. Just as nature moves in seasons, tides, and celestial cycles, your prosperity too is born in repetition, in faithful return, in the establishment of a spiritual routine. The world around you is filled with distractions, temptations, and the pull of old habits that whisper, "It's okay to skip just this once," or "Nothing will change if you rest today." But the law is precise. You do not rise to the level of your intentions, you fall to the level of your rituals. Pause now and remember a time you tried to change something significant in your life, perhaps a diet, a relationship, a way of thinking about yourself. If your effort was sporadic, if your energy flared and then faded, you likely returned to the old path, no matter how strong your desire. The invisible current of your daily rhythm pulls more strongly than any fleeting wish. In the universe's ledger, what counts is not the intensity of your desire, but the frequency of your devotion. This is why so many people gather teachings, read every book, watch every video, and still find themselves circling the same mountains of lack, waiting for a breakthrough that never comes. They have not yet understood that the law honors rhythm, not bursts of effort. This is where you learn the power of spiritual obedience. True obedience is not the same as blind submission. It is conscious, chosen alignment with laws that are higher and more ancient than your personality or preferences. You become the vessel, the channel, the faithful practitioner. In every tradition, those who achieve lasting abundance are those who turn principles into practice, who weave the codes of prosperity into the structure of their day, until their life becomes a living ritual, a song of manifestation sung with every breath. Imagine waking each morning not as a victim of circumstances, but as a conscious co-creator, greeting the day with a declaration of your intention. Before the world's noise can invade, you claim the field, anchoring your vibration in the law of the word. My voice is the voice of wealth. I speak money into motion. This is more than a phrase. It is a bell that signals to your subconscious mind that you are in command and that the day will serve your abundance. You move through your morning as one who knows her supply is already present. Every small act, a shower, a cup of coffee, the selection of your clothes, becomes a vote for prosperity, a ritual of expectation. You notice how, with each repetition, your body, your breath, your mind attune to a higher frequency. You are no longer waiting for evidence. You are embodying the state that will produce it. As your day unfolds, you make midday a spiritual anchor point, a moment to recalibrate when the world's distractions try to pull you back into old stories. Here, the practice of thought substitution becomes your ally. Every time a doubt or fear arises, you do not let it take root. You interrupt it, gently but firmly, replacing it with a new command. I am divinely provided for. There is no loss in spirit. This practice, simple in theory, is radical in its effects. Most allow hundreds of scarcity thoughts to pass by unchallenged, unaware that each one is a withdrawal from their spiritual bank account. But you become vigilant, training your mind as carefully as you would train your body, knowing that every thought directed toward abundance is a deposit, every repetition a reinforcement of your new identity. With the sun setting and the day closing, the evening becomes your most sacred hour. Here you perform the act that seals your prosperity, the ritual of circulation and declaration. Whether you are tithing to a spiritual cause, blessing a friend with a gift, or simply paying a bill, you never let money leave your hands in silence or anxiety. Instead, you speak blessing over every seed. This is a blessed seed. It returns to me multiplied. It opens doors that no one can shut. In this moment, you are not hoping for the best. You are commanding the universe, programming every release with expectation of increase. This single act transforms ordinary transactions into spiritual investments, setting the law of return in motion. The final ritual of your day is the practice of expectation, anchoring your faith in the certainty of provision. Before sleep, you declare, "My supply is already on its way. Opportunities are arranging themselves for my good. Abundance is flowing toward me through channels I have not even imagined." You are not begging the universe for scraps. You are sealing your covenant with the law, affirming your role as an obedient participant in the great rhythm of abundance. With every declaration, every repetition, you are impressing a new rhythm upon your subconscious mind, teaching your nervous system to trust the field and to act from overflow, not from survival. This discipline is what distinguishes the few who live in lasting prosperity from the many who merely visit it in moments of luck or intensity. The spiritual codes do not reward occasional inspiration. They respond to consistent devotion. The one who rises is not always the one who is the most gifted, or even the most deserving, but the one who shows up day after day until the rhythm of abundance becomes second nature, until the practice itself becomes the reality. And so, as you move forward, commit not only in thought, but in daily deed. Make every morning a consecration, every midday a recalibration, every evening a celebration and a sealing of your wealth. Let obedience become your path to freedom. For in aligning with these rhythms, you are not becoming less yourself. You are awakening the original blueprint of your soul. The 11 hidden universal laws that attract prosperity are not just codes to study, but practices to embody, rituals to live, frequencies to become. You are the living temple where abundance dwells, the vessel through which the law finds its greatest expression. Declare now, in your heart and aloud, "I obey divine law, and money cannot ignore me. I rise in rhythm, I prosper in practice, I seal my destiny through daily devotion." Let this be your anthem, your challenge, your invitation to a life where wealth is no longer a dream, but a ritual, a rite, a rhythm that lifts you higher every day. If you are ready to take up this practice, to walk the path of sacred repetition, let it be known. Comment, share your intention, and inspire the field. The journey is just beginning, and every step you take in obedience becomes a beat in the song of your everlasting prosperity. There comes a moment on the path of prosperity when the old ways of striving and struggling fall away, and you begin to feel the subtle hum of a new order, a sacred orchestration moving beneath the surface of ordinary life. Here, in this awakened state, two more hidden universal laws reveal themselves, codes that not only attract wealth, but transform your very relationship with giving, receiving, and the silent contracts that shape your financial destiny. As you journey deeper into these mysteries, you come to realize that the universe is not random, and abundance is not doled out as a test or a trick. Instead, everything is governed by precision, rhythm, and the divine intelligence that responds to the frequency you embody, not the effort you exert. There is a pattern in the stories of those who rise from humble beginnings to lives of overflow. It is not always brilliance, education, or even relentless effort that lifts them into wealth. More often, it is a secret alignment with the laws of return, generosity, and spiritual stewardship. Most people misunderstand giving as a loss, a subtraction from what little they have. But in truth, the act of giving, when rooted in conscious declaration, is a spiritual transaction that opens the floodgates of multiplication. The universe recognizes generosity not as depletion, but as faith, a signal that you trust in the infinite cycle of circulation and expect to be replenished far beyond what you release. Think of every act of giving, every tithe, every kind gesture as a key that unlocks a vault in the invisible realm. If you give in silence, with anxiety or reluctance, the law cannot multiply your gift. But when you give with spoken blessing, declaring your expectation, you command the forces of abundance to return your seed in multiplied form. This is the hidden ritual that separates those who give and feel depleted from those who give and watch their fortunes grow. It is not the amount that matters. It is the energy, the word, the intention behind the release. Even a single coin, offered in faith and accompanied by conscious declaration, carries the power to activate a harvest greater than you can imagine. Pause and remember a moment when you gave with joy, expecting nothing but good to return. Recall how the universe responded, sometimes in ways you could never have predicted. Now, make this a practice, not an exception. Never again release money, time, or energy without declaring its multiplication. With every act of giving, speak aloud or within your heart, "This seed is blessed. It returns to me multiplied. It opens doors no one can close." By doing so, you turn every outflow into a spiritual investment, every moment of generosity into a ritual that commands the attention of the universal law. But even as you master the flow of giving and receiving, another law must come into play, the law of coherence, the harmonization of all levels of your being. Many try to speak abundance, but harbor hidden fears or old vows of lack deep within. The spiritual codes cannot be tricked by words alone. They require the full agreement of your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and identity. You must become a living testament to the truth you wish to manifest. The person who affirms wealth in the morning and worries in the afternoon, who gives generously but resents others' prosperity, who desires abundance but feels unworthy of its blessings, remains in a field of scattered signals. The universe responds not to what you say in moments of clarity, but to the persistent frequency you embody through daily alignment. This is why the ritual of coherence is essential. Begin by observing your inner dialogue, the words you speak in the privacy of your mind. Notice the stories that surface in moments of challenge or surprise. Are they stories of lack, of never enough, of the world as a harsh place where resources are always scarce? Or do you cultivate an inner field of faith, expectation, and certainty that all your needs are met and more? When old agreements with lack rise to the surface, do not push them away in shame. Instead, bring them into the light of consciousness and burn them with the fire of a new declaration. I dissolve every contract with scarcity. I am aligned in thought, feeling, and action with the law of abundance. Only prosperity lives here now. Practice this coherence as you move through your day. Let every decision, every small choice, reflect your new identity as a magnet for wealth. If fear rises, meet it not with resistance, but with compassion and a new agreement. I am safe to receive. I am worthy of increase. I choose to align my whole being with the rhythm of prosperity. This is not a one-time act, but a living discipline, a daily return to harmony, a conscious tuning of your energetic instrument until it rings with the clear, unwavering tone of abundance. The rewards of coherence are immediate and miraculous. When you are no longer at war with yourself, when your mind, heart, and actions move together, you become unstoppable. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach begin to appear as if drawn by invisible threads. Resources, relationships, and synchronicities flow to you with an ease that surprises even the most seasoned practitioner. You discover that prosperity is not a prize to be won, but a frequency to be inhabited, a homecoming to your original design. Throughout your journey, never forget that these 11 hidden universal laws that attract prosperity are not abstract theories, but living realities. They are activated by your daily rituals, sustained by your declarations, and amplified by your willingness to give, receive, and align. Each law builds upon the last, creating a sacred geometry of increase that expands with every cycle, every choice, every breath. So as you move forward, let your life become a continuous ritual of generosity and coherence. Give with open hands and expectant heart, declaring the multiplication of every seed you plant. Harmonize your thoughts, your words, your emotions, and your actions until your entire being sings the song of prosperity. If you stumble, return gently to the practice. If old doubts arise, meet them with new agreements. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be persistent, to honor the rhythm of daily practice, to embody the laws in real time. Now, with each breath, each step, you set a new standard for what is possible. You are not just following the path of abundance, you are blazing it, becoming a beacon for others who seek to remember the truth of their own power. Speak now your intention into the field. I give with faith. I receive in harmony. My life is a living ritual of abundance. Let this declaration anchor your next cycle and prepare your heart for the deeper revelations to come. For in the next stage, even greater mysteries will unfold, laws that reveal how to anchor your prosperity with unshakable faith, how to magnetize wealth with unwavering presence, and how to live as a steward of universal supply. The journey is ongoing, and with every new law you embody, you draw closer to the inevitable, lasting overflow that was always your birthright. There is a secret frequency within the soul, a resonance so powerful that it shapes not only your relationship with money, but the entire choreography of your life. In this sacred phase of the journey, as you begin to embody more of the hidden universal laws that attract prosperity, you discover a truth that changes everything. Prosperity is not merely received, but magnetized, drawn to you by the vibration you broadcast, the presence you carry, the consciousness you choose to inhabit each moment. Many seek abundance as if it were something to be hunted or earned by force, chasing opportunities, grasping for validation, pursuing every strategy in the hope of capturing the secret. But the true masters of prosperity do not chase, they attract. They understand that spiritual magnetism is not born from desperation, but from alignment. When you are fully present in your body, when your heart and mind are undivided, when your words and actions harmonize with the truth of abundance, you become the center of gravity for every resource, opportunity, and blessing required for your expansion. It begins with the recognition that you are not separate from the field of wealth. You are part of it, an extension of the same infinite source that animates every breath, every tree, every wave of the ocean. The illusion of separation is the great lie that keeps humanity locked in cycles of struggle, believing that the flow of prosperity must be begged for, stolen, or anxiously guarded. But the hidden law is this: money is energy, and energy flows to where it is welcomed, respected, and honored. When you become a sanctuary for wealth, it feels safe to stay. Pause for a moment and become acutely aware of your own presence. Feel the weight and warmth of your body, the space you occupy, the air moving in and out of your lungs. Notice the rhythm of your thoughts, the quality of your attention. Are you here, fully, or is your mind wandering to regrets of the past or worries about the future? Most people live disconnected from the present, caught in loops of anxiety and comparison, missing the miracle of the moment. Yet every master teacher, every spiritual tradition, every secret book on prosperity teaches the same principle. The power to attract wealth lives here, now, in the sanctuary of this breath, this heartbeat, this sacred presence. Bring your awareness to the way you move through your day. Do you rush, distracted and restless, or do you walk with intention as someone who knows her worth? When you speak, do you choose words of blessing, or do you rehearse complaints and scarcity? When you interact with others, do you radiate the quiet confidence of someone anchored in sufficiency? Or do you subtly ask the world for permission to exist, to receive, to thrive? The law of presence teaches that the most magnetic force in the universe is authenticity, the bold, unapologetic embodiment of your true self, rooted in the certainty of your own value. Practice this now. Sit or stand tall, with your spine aligned and your gaze steady. Feel the crown of your head open to the sky, the soles of your feet grounded to the earth. Breathe deeply and let your awareness fill every cell of your being. In this state, silently or aloud, affirm, I am the magnet for prosperity. I draw wealth, love, and opportunities to me by the frequency I embody. Let these words settle into your bones, imprinting a new command upon your subconscious mind. You are no longer a beggar at the door of abundance. You are the invited guest, the co-creator, the beloved child of an infinitely generous universe. As you move forward, bring this magnetic presence into every interaction, every decision, every exchange. When you receive, do so with gratitude and grace, never shrinking or apologizing for your blessings. When you give, do so with open hands, trusting that what flows out will always be returned, multiplied. Make your very being a ritual of generosity and trust, knowing that the field is always seeking those who are ready to receive. But spiritual magnetism alone is not enough to sustain abundance. The next law, often overlooked yet profoundly transformative, is the law of stewardship, the art of caring for what you have with reverence and responsibility. So many wish for more wealth, more opportunity, more resources, yet treat what they already possess with neglect, resentment, or indifference. They complain about their job while hoping for a promotion, grumble about their home while dreaming of a mansion, ignore the small coins in their wallet while wishing for a windfall. The universe, however, does not reward disregard. It responds to stewardship. To be a steward is to honor every blessing, no matter how humble, as sacred. It is to treat your possessions, your money, your relationships, and your gifts as seeds for greater increase. Stewardship is not about perfection or rigidity. It is about gratitude, care, and conscious attention. When you clean your home, you create space for new abundance. When you balance your accounts, you signal respect for the flow of money. When you bless your work, even if it is not your final destination, you lay the foundation for the next level of prosperity. The law is simple. What you honor multiplies. What you resent or ignore withers and fades. Reflect on your current life, the spaces you inhabit, the resources you manage, the talents you express or neglect. What would it look like to become a priest or priestess of your own prosperity, tending every aspect of your world with devotion? Begin today, in small ways. Bless your meals, your bank account, your daily routines. Speak words of thanks over every possession, every bill, every act of service or creation. The more you elevate the mundane into the sacred, the more you signal to the universe that you are ready to receive and sustain greater abundance. Whenever you feel envy or longing for what others have, return to stewardship. Instead of asking, "Why don't I have more?" ask, "How can I better honor what I have now?" This single shift unlocks doors that will never open to the energy of complaint or comparison. Make stewardship a daily ritual. Before sleep, name 3 things you cared for well that day and declare, "I am a faithful steward of all that is given to me. I multiply every blessing with gratitude and love." Let this become your signature in the field, a magnetic force that draws increase not as a lucky accident, but as an inevitable reward. In this way, the journey through the 11 hidden universal laws that attract prosperity becomes a dance of presence and devotion, a daily return to the altar of your own worthiness and responsibility. You realize that wealth is not merely a number or a thing to be owned, but a frequency to be held, a trust to be cultivated, a relationship to be deepened. Every act of stewardship, every moment of authentic presence brings you closer to the life of overflow that you were designed to live. Let your next breath carry the vibration of this new understanding. Stand tall in the awareness that you are both the magnet and the guardian of abundance. Speak now, in the privacy of your own heart or in the open field. "I am present for my prosperity. I am a faithful steward of all I receive. Abundance multiplies under my care." With these words, seal a new agreement with the universe, a covenant of magnetism, gratitude, and sacred responsibility. In the blocks ahead, more mysteries will be revealed, laws that show how to anchor your faith, how to invoke divine favor, how to partner with the infinite for results that surpass all logic and expectation. For now, honor the magnetism and stewardship you carry. The next chapter is already calling you forward, and the field is watching for your next command. There is a turning point in every journey of abundance, a moment when the soul realizes that what it expects, it receives. Beneath every spiritual tradition, every prosperity teaching, every success story lies a single, unbreakable law. Expectation is the engine of manifestation. The universe is not moved by empty longing or scattered wishing, but by the magnetic pull of sustained, confident expectation. This is the law that quietly governs the difference between those who see miracles and those who wait in frustration, between those who receive lavishly and those who wonder why their prayers remain unanswered. Pause for a moment and remember a time in your life when you expected something with such certainty that you simply assumed it would happen. Perhaps you waited for a friend's arrival, a payment you knew was due, or a celebration that was already planned. Notice how your energy was calm, focused, and relaxed, not anxious, not striving, not doubting. You didn't try to force the outcome, you simply expected it, and so it arrived. This is the frequency that the law of expectation demands, not desperate, not pleading, but unwavering, ordinary certainty. The universe responds to this certainty as if it were a command. Yet most people live in the space between hope and fear, vacillating between moments of bold affirmation and long hours of silent anxiety. They affirm prosperity, but expect disappointment, ask for blessings, but secretly brace for loss. The field does not respond to words alone. It responds to the unspoken command of your vibration. Every day, you rehearse lack, even subconsciously. You program the invisible field to mirror your uncertainty. The spiritual discipline is not just to speak abundance, but to expect it as the natural order of your life, to make prosperity so familiar in your consciousness that it feels inevitable, even before it arrives. This is not blind optimism or naive positivity. It is a practiced, embodied faith. The masters of prosperity live as if the blessing were already delivered, as if every good thing were on its way, as if the invisible channels of supply are always open and responsive. They move through their days with quiet assurance, planning, deciding, and acting from completion rather than lack. This is the faith that moves mountains, the confidence that bends reality, the expectation that draws forth substance from the unseen. To anchor this law, begin each morning by setting your expectation with deliberate clarity. Before you open your phone or speak to another soul, declare within yourself, "Today I expect miracles. I expect unexpected blessings. I expect divine surprises and open doors." Speak it not as a wish, but as an order to the field. Throughout the day, whenever doubt or delay tempts you, return to your center. Repeat your command. "Everything I need is already on its way to me. The universe is conspiring for my good." Feel the truth of these words settle into your body, rearranging your posture, your breath, your gaze. Let expectation become your new default setting. But even expectation is only part of the equation. There is another law, more hidden, more daring, the law of invocation. This is the ancient art of calling forth what is not yet visible, of standing as spiritual authority in the invisible realm and issuing a decree. Too many leave their destiny to chance, waiting for signs, waiting for approval, waiting for some outside force to give permission. But the universe is waiting for your voice. The law of invocation says that what you summon with conviction and clarity cannot resist your call. It must respond by spiritual law to the one who knows her power. Consider for a moment that the entire field around you is alive, intelligent, waiting for direction. Every unmanifest blessing, every opportunity, every resource, every healing is already formed in the invisible, waiting for your command. In this realm, you are not a passive receiver, but an active participant, a priest or priestess of the word. To invoke is not to beg or to plead, but to issue a sacred order, to set a vibration in motion that draws the unseen into the seen. Practice this law now. Bring to mind a specific area of your life where you desire increase: money, love, health, opportunity. Speak aloud, or in the temple of your heart, "I invoke divine abundance now. I command the invisible channels to open. I call forth supply from the storehouse of spirit. I am ready to receive in overflowing measure." Let these words be more than affirmation. Let them ring with the weight of certainty, the clarity of spiritual authority. Feel the field respond, as if a door opens, as if the atmosphere shifts, as if a wind of blessing stirs around you. Make invocation a daily ritual. Before important meetings, before new ventures, before giving or spending, issue your command. Do not wait for a sign to believe. Be the one who sets the sign in motion. Each invocation is a seed, a bell rung in the halls of the universe, a code that instructs the invisible to become visible. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, until you walk as one whose voice shapes reality, whose word carries the tone of certainty, whose field attracts manifestation with ease. Understand that these laws, expectation and invocation, work together as twin engines of prosperity. Expectation is the frequency you broadcast. Invocation is the command you issue. One attracts, the other activates. Together, they make you irresistible to every blessing you dare to name. As you walk in this new authority, notice how opportunities come sooner, how solutions appear before you need them, how resources flow from channels you never imagined. This is not luck, it is law. Each day, recommit to living as one who expects good and calls it forth. If delays arise, do not retreat into worry. Double your expectation. If obstacles appear, do not surrender your command. Speak even louder to the field. I do not beg. I invoke. I do not chase. I magnetize. I do not fear. I expect and receive. Let this become your rhythm, your daily devotion, your anthem of spiritual power. As you prepare for what comes next, know that you are moving beyond the level of wishing and hoping. You are graduating into mastery, into the living partnership with the universal field, into the legacy of Florence Scovel Shinn and all who have learned to command the laws instead of being ruled by them. Every moment is an opportunity to set your expectation, to invoke your good, to call forth new realities from the invisible. Speak your intention now, seal it in the field. I expect miracles. I invoke my abundance. The universe obeys my word. Let this be your new code. In the next block, we will journey into the final laws, where you will learn to anchor your legacy, seal your prosperity, and walk as the living embodiment of the abundance that was always your birthright. For now, breathe deeply, claim your authority, and step into the certainty that everything you need is already moving toward you, summoned by your expectation, delivered by your invocation, multiplied by the laws that you now command. There is a final circle that every seeker of prosperity must complete, a ring of power that closes the cycle of manifestation and transforms theory into embodied reality. As you approach the completion of the 11 hidden universal laws that attract prosperity, you are invited to cross this threshold and become not only a student, but a living embodiment of the laws themselves, a walking field of abundance, a transmitter of wealth, a beacon for others who are still searching for the door. At this summit, a new level of mastery is required, the ability to anchor your prosperity with gratitude that precedes the evidence. This is the law of anticipated gratitude, a spiritual alchemy that dissolves all waiting, all yearning, all uncertainty. Most people withhold their gratitude until the blessing is safely in their hands, as if the universe needed proof of delivery before it could be thanked. But the spiritual mechanics are the reverse. Gratitude is not the reward for manifestation, it is the activator. What you thank before it arrives, you claim as yours. What you bless in advance, you draw nearer. What you celebrate ahead of time, you multiply without measure. Recall the child who, certain of a birthday gift, radiates excitement weeks before the package is unwrapped. Her joy is not conditional upon seeing the gift. It is a magnet that calls the good forth, an energy that accelerates delivery. This is how the great spiritual masters manifest with ease. They offer gratitude as a declaration of faith, a vote of confidence in the universe, a signal that they are ready, worthy, and expectant. This vibration rings with certainty, banishing doubt, confusion, and delay from the field. Practice this law now, before you see the result, before the money arrives, before the new opportunity is announced. Pause and speak aloud. Thank you for my abundance. Thank you for the supply that is already on its way. Thank you for doors opening in my favor, for the blessings I have not yet seen, for the miracles already in motion. Let the words ring with feeling, with depth, with truth. Imagine yourself celebrating the answered prayer, the unexpected windfall, the healing, the breakthrough. Feel the gratitude as if it were a living energy swirling in your chest, drawing the invisible into the visible. The law of anticipated gratitude is the highest form of expectation. It requires you to celebrate in the absence of evidence, to anchor your trust not in what you can count, but in what you can command. Each moment of gratitude sends a ripple through the quantum field, rearranging circumstances, nudging strangers, reweaving opportunities in your favor. You become the attractor, the one whom life cannot refuse, because you have already accepted the gift in your heart. Yet even gratitude must be sealed. The ancients knew the power of ritual closure, of marking the completion of a cycle with a sacred act, a signature in the field that binds your intention to the fabric of reality. This is the law of the vibrational seal. Every ritual, every journey, every spell, every invocation must be concluded with a moment of absolute certainty, a line drawn in the sand, a statement to the universe. It is done. Without this seal, energy remains open. Outcomes remain indefinite. Your commands linger as requests rather than decrees. But when you anchor your work with a seal, you shift from asking to claiming, from wishing to owning, from please to it is done. This is the practice of the spiritual sovereign, the master of universal law, the co-creator with the divine. To practice the law of the seal, create a simple closing ritual for every act of manifestation. After you speak your command, after you declare your gratitude, after you complete your daily rituals, pause and say with authority, "It is done. My word is law. The universe obeys my decree. The outcome is sealed and cannot be undone." Speak it with the same tone you would use to close a deal, to finish a prayer, to stamp a letter. The vibration must ring with finality, with confidence, with divine completion. Feel how the energy in the room changes as you seal your work. There is a silence, a depth, a sense of inevitability. You know without proof that what you have called forth is now moving toward you, unstoppable, unshakable, inevitable. This is the secret of those who walk in permanent prosperity. They close every cycle, every prayer, every invocation with a seal that leaves no room for reversal or doubt. Let this be your new practice. As you wake, as you give, as you plan, as you invest, as you celebrate, as you rest, seal every act with gratitude and with the declaration that it is done. Let your day be a series of sacred closures, each one a stone in the foundation of your abundance. In doing so, you will train your subconscious mind to accept only certainty, to filter out all fear, to operate as a field where only fulfillment grows. The journey through the 11 hidden universal laws that attract prosperity is not a ladder with a single summit, but a spiral that deepens with each cycle. Every time you close a loop with gratitude and a seal, you begin again from a higher octave, attracting not only what you can imagine, but what you could never have dreamed. You become a living portal of wealth, a transmitter of overflow, a blessing not only to yourself, but to all who cross your path. If you are ready to live as the living embodiment of wealth, make this commitment now. Speak, type, or whisper in the presence of the field. I celebrate before I receive. I thank the universe in advance. My prosperity is sealed. It is done. Let your words be the final brushstroke on the masterpiece of your manifestation. In the next and final block, we will gather all the codes, anchor the challenge of mastery, and open the pathway for you to lead others through the portal you now command. For now, rest in the certainty that you have become not only a student of prosperity, but its living, breathing source. The field is complete. The cycle is closed. The abundance is yours. You have walked a spiral path through mysteries that most will never glimpse. With each block, you have moved closer to the heart of abundance, closer to the point where universal law is not just a concept, but an unbreakable rhythm echoing through every cell of your being. Now, at the threshold of completion, you stand as both the student and the master, both the receiver and the transmitter, both the voice and the silence. The 11 hidden universal laws that attract prosperity are no longer external teachings. They are the living codes inscribed upon the fabric of your consciousness. Look back, for a moment, at all you have become. You have learned to honor your word as the wand that shapes reality, to circulate your wealth with faith and declaration, to assume the frequency of what is already done, to give and receive with conscious blessing, to burn your old contracts and sign new agreements with abundance. You have discovered the power of spiritual magnetism, the grace of stewardship, the engine of expectation, the command of invocation, the energy of gratitude that precedes all evidence, and the sacred finality of the vibrational seal. Each law is not a step to check off, but a living circuit, a pulse, a breath, a field that expands with your attention and mastery. As you integrate these codes, feel the atmosphere shift. There is a new gravity to your presence, a new softness in your energy, a new clarity in your vision. The world responds not only to what you do, but to who you are. An embodiment of abundance, a walking testimony to the truth that the universe is generous, responsive, and always conspiring for your highest good. The spiral of prosperity is now your home, your altar, your place of sacred authority. But the journey is never only for you. The secret power of wealth is that it multiplies when shared, amplifies when celebrated in community, solidifies when passed from heart to heart. You are called now to become not only a magnet for prosperity, but a mentor, a way shower, a keeper of the codes for all those who follow. Your presence becomes the invitation, your ritual the roadmap, your testimony the spark that lights the path for others still wandering in the desert of lack. So I invite you now to accept a collective challenge, a ritual that will take these laws from the realm of thought into the flesh of your daily existence. For the next 7 days, live as if the entire universe were conspiring for your abundance. Each morning, begin with a spoken declaration. I am the voice of prosperity. I command my wealth to flow. Throughout the day, every time you give, spend, or receive, seal it with conscious blessing. This act multiplies my supply. I am both the channel and the source. In every moment of doubt, replace it with a command of faith. It is already done. My word is law. Before sleep, give thanks not only for what you have seen, but for what is still invisible, trusting that the universe responds to the vibration of celebration before manifestation. Document your journey in the comments. Share your experiences, your declarations, your miracles, your subtle shifts. Each testimony becomes a new seed in the field, each act of engagement an invitation for the next person to rise. If you feel moved, invite others to join the ritual, to step into the spiral, to become keepers of the 11 laws alongside you. The field becomes stronger with every voice, every agreement, every celebration of overflow. If obstacles arise, remember the codes. You are never returned to the beginning. You spiral higher, even through setbacks and delays. Every challenge is a chance to recommit, to invoke, to expect, to seal, to celebrate in advance. You are not required to be perfect. You are required only to persist, to return, to remember the rhythm and let it carry you through. As you complete each day, seal your practice with the final command. The field is closed. The cycle is sealed. My prosperity is permanent. It is done. Say it aloud. Write it. Whisper it into the night. Let this be your signature, your vibrational stamp upon the universe, a message that you are no longer a seeker, but a sovereign, no longer a beggar at the gates, but a builder of temples, no longer waiting for permission, but issuing the command that draws all things to you in perfect time and perfect measure. This is not the end, but a new beginning, a crossing into a life where every act is a ritual, every word a key, every moment a seed for tomorrow's overflow. The codes are alive in you now. The universal laws move through you as you, creating, expanding, blessing the world with every breath you take. You have become the living answer to your own prayer. You are the abundance you once sought. You are the prosperity you once doubted. You are the code, the carrier, the keeper of the spiral. So let it be written. So let it be sealed. The word does not return void. Your wealth is anchored. The spiral is closed. It is done. If you completed this journey, declare in the comments below, I live the codes. I am the abundance. Invite those who come after to join you, to rise with you, to remember what you now embody. The field is open, the legacy is set, and the next chapter awaits. Go forth and multiply, not only your wealth, but your light, your presence, your blessing upon the earth. For this is your time, this is your spiral, this is your word, made manifest.